day we out here fighting demons. We done stepped into a life that got us out here fiending. That money be the root of all evil, could kill us all. My homie had a bad addiction and died to an overdose of fentanyl. My other homie doing 30, killing with fentanyl. I just make sure I'm by the phone every time he call. Ever so dope, we all make some bad choices. Some of us get a second chance while others pay for it. The money and the drug got these women selling they soul. They done legalized weed, now everybody smoking drugs. People out here getting high, forgetting they got keys. Double cupping all night on that lean getting lit. Pumping that dog food, aka that heroin. Another mother just lost a child to something that's embarrassing. We need to make a change and break the cycle, all this foolishness. Every day, every so dope, we keep on losing keys.
It's your girls from Ever So Dope. I'm Nicole.
I'm Kathy.
And I'm Jennifer. We have Marie here with us today. She's going to be telling us about her time in jail. Yeah. We'd like to call this episode Arrested and Afraid. So, Marie, you want to start off by just telling us a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Marie. I'm 41. I was an addict for over 20 years. I've been arrested, I don't know, I'm going to say probably over 100 times. I have some pretty gritty stories for you. I've been to prison 3 times, and I've come from a very tumultuous background with my childhood, being from sexual abuse to physical abuse to mental abuse.
Would you say that was probably what led into your drug use?
Yeah, I'm going to say it was a lot of it, but then, once I come to terms with what had happened and I come to terms with being an adult and the decisions that I made then were just my decisions to make. I didn't have to have a reason to get high. I did it because I loved it at that point.
Mm-hmm. How old were you when you started using drugs?
I'm going to say 23-ish.
Mm-hmm. Were you raised around that lifestyle?
No.
No? Okay.
No. But I was raised differently. I was raised into a very seductive childhood.
Mm-hmm.
I was, my mom was jealous of us girls. Therefore, it became very physically abusive. So it was
jealous, like, of your relationship with
my dad. Yeah. It got pretty physical a lot, actually. I actually still to this day have issues that I'm dealing with currently as far as medical because of the abuse, like the fractures and
the ears,
the infections that went unattended as a child. I've had to have several surgeries. I've had 3 triple bypasses. I've had 7 heart attacks. I've had 5 surgeries on my head, including implants in my eardrums, 2 shunts on my brain to drain the fluid from the fractures.
And that's stems from physical abuse from your childhood.
Yes, and medical negligence.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. A lot of it I used as a crutch too, though, to remain in my addiction as well. But it took me being much.
My head hurts. Let me use some drugs.
Yeah, and it really didn't have to hurt. Mm-hmm. But the doctors just kept prescribing, and I kept selling that to buy the drug of choice. And I mean, it played all hand in hand.
What was your drug of choice?
Meth, fentanyl.
So would you say that were your parents in active addiction as well? I mean, were you used to being around people that partied all the time? Or were you just young and dumb and just decided partying with friends?
The only drugs I can recall ever being in my life as a child was marijuana.
Yeah.
It was actually mostly marijuana and guns. I seen more marijuana and guns. I shot my first AR. I think I was 5. I shot my first AK by the time I was 7.
So you know how to shoot those?
Yes.
Okay, well
that's
good
not
to
a bad
know.
thing. Hey, I grew up the same way. A lot of us, we're in the South, so that's going to happen. That's not an uncommon. So you would say that your drug use led you to getting arrested?
Absolutely.
How old were you the first time you ever got arrested?
21. I believe I was 21 and I was
a baby.
What were you doing?
I was so high. I was going to down where Pier Park is, but it wasn't Pier Park then. And oh Lord,
memory.
well, somebody had called in on us. We were driving down the beach, and I was giving somebody a blowjob.
Oh
Oh my God! And so you got arrested for that?
Well,
Or they called the law because
they called the law because
You
they
weren't
had-
driving, were you?
No, they called the law because they drove by, and I thought I was just gonna be like.
My cousin got a DUI getting a blowjob because he was
Well,
swerving and the cop pulled him over.
I was just trying to be a smart ass. I seen some guys driving by, and I look up and I'm like, I just kind of wave and smile at them. Unbeknownst to me, they were, apparently they were godly men of some type, and they decided to call it in. And when the cop
Cut
pulled
that short.
over, well, I mean, that's just, but that's not what I was arrested for. However, he
Kind
did
of
drop.
started the chain
He
of
wanted
events.
to go through our vehicle, which was fine. I had the drugs up in my hoo-ha. But when they done
Does that hurt?
well, I mean, you got to think, the bag was only about this big, so it only hurts if you've only had a,
And we're talking quarter
Sex
size.
about
You
this
can't see
big.
her fingers, but she's probably about the size of a quarter.
about the size of a quarter. And
People
it's-
really stick it up there, huh?
Oh yeah, I mean it was but it wasn't too far up in there because when they did the open air sniff, the car passed. But then when they walked the dog around my persons, because they couldn't pat me down because they were men.
So there wasn't a female cop on scene.
No, but the dog kept sitting in front of me, and so then that's when he called a female out. And I still didn't cough it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Literally. So whenever I had a warrant, and I didn't even know, but it was for child support, and so they went ahead and brought me to the county jail, and I knew nothing of the coughs and squats. I knew nothing
So
about.
tell us about that.
So it's like
the process.
Yes, we want to know. We want
So
to know about that.
when you go in, you're the first thing they do is, they make you spread them with your clothes on, and you're putting your feet shoulder width, and you're putting your arms shoulder width up against a wall, and then they just she pats you down. And I'm thinking, yes, I'm getting away with this, because it's up in me, right? Like, I know she's not going to put her hands up in there because, that just ain't about to happen. I'm going to go to jail all the way if that happens. And she tells you to go over and step over into a room, and the man steps around the corner where he can't see you. And there you take your bra and your panties off. And, I took the bra and I took the panties off, and I'm like, yes. It didn't fall out. You know what I mean? So, they bring you a towel to wrap around you. And you kind of walk through, and, I don't know why I did it. I don't know. I was super high and possibly even drunk. But as I'm walking through, the men that were stepped around to the side, I'm like, I
You
just
showed
kinda
up.
opened
You
my
showed
towel.
up your goodies.
Yeah, I did.
And it's funny that you can look back and laugh about it now because obviously, I mean, it's funny, but it's not funny because it obviously caused some, severe trauma with you throughout your life,
It
and
did.
it's
It
affected
definitely
you
did.
as you became a woman and you got older, it's
Once I've
been
become
emotional.
a little more modest and I look back and I think about all of that.
We've all been there. We had that story. Remember, I told y'all I've seen them.
Yeah.
In places, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No. It's
crazy.
a funny story to tell, but then when you have to really go back and think about what you did, it's like, oh.
Well, I
Wow,
mean, it just
yeah.
plays right along with, some of the same cops that have arrested me have been the same cops at the Gold Nugget that's tipping me.
Mm-hmm.
So, back to the story real quick.
We want to know what happened.
Did they ever find it?
Yes. So,
Did they?
So shower time. So you have to, everybody gets shower time. The moment you step into jail, that's the first thing you do before they even book you, really. You go back over into this little area, and there's two officers. One is sitting at the desk, and she's watching the camera that you're on in case the other that's there with you misses something. She tells me to drop my towel. And I'm like, no, she was like, girl, you just flashed the whole jail. Like, why are you worried about it now? Because I started to get nervous, and I don't know why I did, because I did.
Well, you were young.
And I think it was really, truly dawning on me. Oh,
where you were,
shit,
what's
you're in
going
jail.
on.
Yeah.
Oh shit, this is the last thing that I needed. But she told me to cough and squat. But you have to like stand further than shoulder length apart, your feet.
Yeah.
They have to be all the way.
Spread 'em.
You're fixing to do the splits, and you have to bend at the knees and make your butt almost come 2 inches from the floor. Well, I mean, therefore you're stuck.
And they're watching you do all that.
It is open.
Okay. It's not like you're being treated
I
with
think
the
I would have
greatest
said,
respect.
hey, hold on, I'm going to get this out of here. Y'all don't need to say that.
Well, I even almost told her that I had a tampon in, but then I was thinking if I don't pull one out,
Then, yeah.
Right.
that's probably, oh Lord. So whenever I coughed and squat, that sucker shot out. It bounced across the floor, and she was like, I need you to come. She radioed into the other lady, I need you to come down here. And they re-cuffed me naked.
Cough
Take
and
me,
squat.
wrap my towel. They cuffed me in the front. They wrapped my towel. I had to hold it with my armpits. And we go back to the front, naked and afraid.
Now you
at
got
this
another
point.
charge.
And I got another whole charge. So that was like, it was a pivotal moment for me because I was new to all of that. It was all new. And initially I thought I was a true badass, you know what I mean? Now I smuggle drugs into jail. I mean, it was like, if I'm going to be a big girl, I'm going to go out with a bang.
That false sense of pride. That,
yeah,
you know,
and it really was.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
Crazy,
fast
crazy.
forward to prison. I know that didn't take you to prison.
No. Several. Oh God, I was arrested so many times. And the thing about it is, the judge he gave me a whole 25 days in jail. Slapped me on my hand, let me out. No probation, nothing to follow by. But I think because I had humiliated myself so much and I degraded myself so much in that one day, you know what I mean?
It kind of like
It caused me to resent the law.
Right.
I became bitter instantly. Like my
well, you
childhood
were like
didn't
basically
touch that.
completely violated. So I could see like, you get in trouble. You're young. It's the first time you're getting in trouble. Maybe it would scare you straight, but you were so embarrassed and ashamed of yourself for that
Yeah, I
your
did
first
the opposite.
experience. So you didn't want to
I
feel
was just
that.
like,
so
F
that
the
probably-
law.
Yeah.
F them.
Yeah.
I don't have nothing for them. So I just went on a complete F the law binge, just doing
A 20-year
Partying it up.
I went on a 20-year crime spree.
20 years.
20 plus years.
She's 21.
I'm now officially, and I hate saying this because it hurts my soul because it's not who I am now. But the laws and I'm not no longer a convicted felon. I am a career criminal. I have to register as a career criminal, whether I get in trouble ever again or not. I have to go down every year, even if I have the same address, and I have to register as a career criminal every year
For the rest of your life.
for the rest of my
That's
life.
crazy.
And getting a job is going to be next to impossible. But we can go ahead and move on to prison. So I went on many, many sprees after that for about 6 years. And I finally violated so many times. And they gave me chance after chance. But at the same time, the chances they were giving me were just rope to hang myself on.
Right.
They
You
knew
were
it
hell
was
bent
I
and
was
whiskey
set up
bound
for
to go to
failure.
prison.
Right.
So I ended up going to prison. My first prison bid, I was in federal. I did 5 years.
What did you do to get, why?
Oh gosh.
You don't have to tell us the story, but just what was the charge?
Extortion of a government official, blackmail, and bribery.
Okay, good. That's good. Moving on.
Yeah.
So, wow.
And so tell us about federal prison.
Federal prison. Oh my gosh, it's cake.
Is it cake compared to the
It
regular
is
state?
cake, and the
Compared to
food
state
is
prison.
amazing. I'm not.
Well, all the rich people go to federal prison, and they gotta have that bougie.
I
They
mean,
can't be in
and I
regular jail.
was
White collar
so,
crimes.
So I had
Yeah.
never been to state prison before I went to federal prison. So I get to federal prison, and I'm like, I can do this over again.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because you've got a microwave, you get an iPad, an actual iPad. You get you get a miniature coffee pot in your room. You've got a small Even
And the
though it
food
was
was
the old
good?
knob channel TVs.
I've heard that before. The food was good.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
They even had a Domino's there. You know what I mean? Like in a salad bar. You have gems.
So how was state prison? if federal prison was...
Well, I thought that because I was going back to prison, I was like, yeah, I'm a hard ass. I can do this. I did 5 years.
You weren't scared at all. It seems like.
No, not at all. Until I got there.
It was a whole new world,
Yeah,
wasn't it?
and
So the prison that I went to is the third largest prison in the nation for women.
Which one is that? Lowell?
Lowell.
Okay.
Every 45 minutes there's a rape.
Yeah, I've heard bad things.
Wow.
The food was
They
atrocious.
have a documentary on Lowell.
Oh, I
and,
know. Me and Pammy Zimmerman was a big part of that. So yeah, no, I actually advocated for them once I got out, but I'd done 32 months there to the door. I ended up picking up time and I lost all my gain time because like I was one of the ones that I would give a lot of rebuttal. I didn't come to prison to be told what to do. I come to prison to do my time, and that's what I done. I fought. I was in paid fights by the guards.
By the guards? The
By
guards
Oh
paid
yeah,
you to
Sergeant Bowles. I'll never forget it. I can drop that because I don't fear that man. In fact, he feared me because of my info with him. You know, and we had sexual relationships
With the guards?
with the guards. If you didn't willingly involve yourself with a specific guard of rank, you're gonna get raped. You are gonna get raped there.
Unbelievable.
It's disgusting.
And it's still going on?
Every day, every single day. It's like a cup of black coffee. You know what I'm saying? It lasts all day long there.
And
It's
Lowell is a
black
maximum
all day.
security.
Yeah, if you go to federal and then if you ever go to state after that, you're automatically maximum security out. You're HO4. You don't get to work in the kitchen. You don't get to do, I got a perk because of me and Bowles, right? I worked outside grounds. I got to go outside gate 11. I had cartons of cigarettes brought into me. I was making almost $2,000 a carton. $2,000. You can sell one cigarette for $20. There's 20 cigarettes in a pack.
Wow.
You can sell cigars in there. The
they're
cheap little
cheap.
brown ones for $20.
They pre-chew their dibs.
I've been told.
And their pouches, and we break them open, roll them, and sell them $5 to $10 a teach. A teach is less than a half of a gram.
What would you say that was if you had to say that there was an upside, how has it made you who you are today?
The upside of it is, and it sounds crazy, but some of the most amazing people I've ever met, I met in prison.
I say that because I've been working with women in recovery for so long that some of the best people I know have drug problems or have overcome their drug problems.
Addiction doesn't discriminate.
No, so I understand that. I can
some of
relate
them,
to that.
it was my true. So I had just like a group of probably 40 or 50 women that we all just stayed together, So honestly, it was my first real sense of family.
Aw.
You know what I mean?
Because you went through so much abuse and trauma.
Yeah.
And what took you to prison this time? What did you do this time?
Trafficking.
Okay, so drugs.
Trafficking methamphetamines.
Okay, so
yeah.
drugs. Okay. And how long were you there?
36 months, 32 months, or
So a
36
little over,
months.
almost
something
3
like
years.
that. Yeah.
Okay. So now you were in federal prison for 5.
Yeah. To the
And
door.
then the state the first time for almost 3, so there's 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you went a third time.
Well, I went my third time, and I actually, if you add up all the CRDs I violated and had to go back and do more.
And can you explain to people who do not know what a CRD is?
Okay, so CRD is your early term date. And everybody qualifies for CRD on drug charges if you have 7 years or less. Okay, so you automatically qualify for CRD. CRD is credited time remaining. All right. So I was actually sentenced to 7 years. I got out in 16 months. I had to do the remainder on parole, which they say Florida doesn't have parole. Bullshit. Yes, they do. CRD is parole.
Okay.
They
That's like
refuse.
conditional release.
It's conditional. And you're wearing an ankle monitor.
Okay.
Okay?
Not for everybody though.
Well,
In
no,
some
but the
cases-
vast majority, depending on your status, on
Okay.
on your felony status, mine, because they career criminaled me out the last prison sentence, I had to have it on.
Okay.
I violated 5 times. I ended up doing almost the entire 7 years.
So what was the, what did you go for that time?
Trafficking.
Okay. More meth?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, meth and Tunchi.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a synthetic
Yeah.
meth and Tunchi.
Gotcha. So what was you hear people hear stories, and this is not going to be for the little virginal ears to listen to, but you hear stories about prison and what really goes on. And we've heard about the rapes, and we've heard about the mistreatment of the prisoners by
Guards.
And so we are the Evers House, and we started the Evers House 8 years ago. Senator Greg Evers was the chairman of the Department of Corrections for the state of Florida. That's how I met him, and he was the one who helped us get this program started. He is the senator that used to do the midnight raids all over the state into the prisons because
Those happened a few times.
people were complaining about their loved ones getting abused and women getting raped. And so he was going in and shutting them down, some of the private prisons too. And so I was in his life at that time when all of this was going on. And I used to hear these stories. And it's hard to believe that it happens when you've never been there or whatever. So,
Or that some people believe that because they are criminals, they get whatever comes to them,
Yeah.
and it's just
And we
not
don't
right.
want to. It's not like we don't want you to feel like you have to glorify your prison experience. We want to know like why. We want to hear the horror stories, and but obviously
the real
the
truth about the experience
and
itself.
how it's made you. I mean, you're alive and you're sober, and
you can be a voice for people who are heading down that track, and what you've been through can help them not to have to go there.
Right.
So, in closing, what would you say to a young woman or a young man who is heading down, the wrong side of the tracks, getting in trouble, and faces the possibility of prison if they don't change their life? What would you do if you were given the opportunity to speak to a bunch of young people? What would you say to them?
I wish I had people like you guys in my life back then to have this talk with me, because there's one of 3 things that's going to happen when you choose the life that I chose. It's jails, institutions, and or death. Period. And there's always somebody you can reach out to. There's always a hotline. There's always a Kathy McClellan. You know what I mean? And a Jennifer Colson. There's always somebody like you guys that they can reach out to. And I wish I had knew somebody like y'all back then.
People, places, and things is really important. Surrounding yourself with good people. If you have a problem with addiction or substance abuse, alcoholism, whatever it may be, it helps to surround yourself with people that don't do that.
I
know for me that was a big thing. But
so I've been clean now over actually 793 days.
Over
today.
2 years.
793 days.
Congratulations.
Today. My people, places, and things did not change at all, except for this last 5.5 months.
See, and that's what I mean.
That's
it's
whenever
important.
it finally started to dawn on me that I loved what I have now and that I want to keep it.
Right.
Whenever I finally started to get structure under me, whenever I started to get, goals, realistic goals. Just don't set a goal that's too far out of reach, because then you're not going to reach your bar and you're going to be hard on yourself again. And
if you do stumble, just pick yourself back up.
Yeah, just because you lapse and you might use one time doesn't mean you've relapsed.
Right.
It means you during your lapse, pick yourself up, get yourself some help, get a sponsor. Because all of those things are things I had to do and I've come to terms with, and I'm okay with
Yeah,
needing
and that's
that
how you're
now.
going to, after you leave your program, that's how you plan to live your life?
Well, yeah, and I'm still going to continue to come to the outpatient here. I'm still going to be involved in every way. Like this family that I've gotten now is God's way of making up for the family I had then.
Right.
I've never had more stronger bonds. We fight like hell here.
Like
But
a real family.
We love even harder.
Yeah.
You know, at the end of the day, we're still there for each other. And I've never had that in my life other than prison.
Yeah, but looking at you, to me, you're so pretty. And looking at you walking down the street, I would never, ever, ever guess that is your story. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, just crazy.
It is embarrassing. It's really embarrassing for myself to know it, but it's also invigorating for me to know
It's
that
not
I've
who you
overcome
are
it.
anymore. It's not who you
It's
are.
not,
You
it's-
look back
And
and
it shaped who you are now.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And when we are a faith-based program, and we say God judges our hearts, God knows us through our hearts, and when He says we're good,
Yeah.
And so when you realize yourself that you're good, and
Yeah.
you're good.
Yeah,
And so,
I'm good.
all right. Well, we appreciate your time today. We
Okay.
thank you very much
Thank you for sharing.
sharing
Yes.
with
Thank
us.
you.
And
I love y'all.
we will
Love
see you
you.
next time.
Yes, ma'am.
Every day we out here fighting demons. We done stepped into a life that got us out here fiending. That money be the root of all evil, could kill us all. My homie had a bad addiction and died to an overdose of fentanyl. My other homie doing 30